If you're interested in getting your replays analyzed, please read my pinned comment below. Thank you and enjoy the video. Advice for cheating up. Cheating up is a bit weird at around high champ and low GC level because in that rank everyone seems to have inconsistent kickoffs. Some can speed flip and many others cannot. So what should you do when you don't know initially what your mate's kickoff is like? Well, the first thing you should do is look at your mate's kickoff. If they speed flipped well and correctly, you can cheat much harder for the follow up since the kickoff should be less erratic. And if they don't speed flip, then you can soft cheat since you might not be sure how the kickoff will end up looking like. This also means you shouldn't front flip at all. Why? Because if you front flip and you notice they did a good speed flip, you won't be able to boost midway through the front flip. This means you should be speed flipping or side flipping yourself for cheats. That way, if it looks like it's a bad kickoff, you don't have to boost through the flip, which will result in a soft cheat. And if it's a good kickoff, i.e. speed flipping, you can boost through your own flip to cheat harder. Good defending, but could be better. Here, the moment you see the opponent go up in the air, you have to play backboard to give yourself the same height as the opponent. The reason why this is important is because it stops the opponent from going high and forces him to go low. And once you see that he's about to go low, you jump off the backboard and make the challenge. The problem with your method is that once the opponent saw you on the ground trying to aerial, they could have sped up the play and hit the ball over your car easily. Here's an example of what I just mentioned. Opponent POV. As you can see, the opponent could easily hit this ball over your head if you aerial from the ground. And here's an example of how you should have defended it. Here, we start by playing backboard, and once we notice the opponent is going low, we drive down and win the challenge. Good positioning. Big mistake, and a common one that many players at high champ and even low GC do. The mistake is that you don't act according to your mate's situation. If you look back, you'd see there was a moment where you could see your mate's boost and that it was 0. This means you cannot challenge, but instead you need to wait and buy time, shadow even, until you feel as though you've bought enough time for your mate to get boost and reposition. Only then do you challenge. This is extremely important because this allows your mate to get the second ball. In this instance, you try to win the ball and you missed, which leaves your mate in a 2v1 situation. And even if you did get a good challenge, the opponent's second man will just pick up the ball anyway. Good turn onto the ball instead of rotating back post. Corner boost is okay here, but would have preferred pads to stay in the play a lot more. Not the best touch, but I do like the improvisation of bumping the opponent instead of panicking and trying to play the ball again. But here, the reason why we take a poor touch is simply due to the way we approach the ball. If you had swung a bit wider and power slide, you would have had a better control and just a straight shot on net. Example. By swinging wider, we are able to take a much stronger shot on net. Good pathing. Need to work on boost grabs more. You had 85 boost and burnt it all just to get corner boosts. You just needed to follow the play with pads and you'll have 100 boost. Nice slow challenge since mate is back with no boost. Good save, but you need to ask yourself why you were left in a 2v1 to begin with. The problem is that you rotated very passively and ended up leaving the play. The moment you see your mate speeding up and pressuring the opponent means you need to speed up with him and quickly. Why? Because if he challenges, you need to be there for the second ball. And because you rotated passively, you wasn't there to fight for the second ball and you were left in a 2v1. Here's an example of what you should have done instead. We notice mate is speeding up, so we speed up with him. This means we are able to pick up the second ball after the 50 since we are close to the play. Good patience and control. Really nice try. Not sure why your mate has no boost and is far away after all this time, but good attempt at stalling and being annoying to stop a clear 2v1 on your mate. A bit of a misplay here. Here, you were last man for a moment until mate was rotating, which means you needed to be a bit careful about not losing the ball. The problem is that you didn't really think about how you were going to outplay the opponent in front of you, and you ended up just driving the ball straight into his path. What you should have done was notice how the opponent landed and try to take the ball behind him and around the wall. Example. As you can see, we hit the ball behind the opponent, which allows us to get past him. Need to speed up the play here, a bit too slow. Not sure what happened to your mate here, but it happens, I guess. Good pass, you played that really well. Okay, this is messy. You messed up your kickoff, but both of you could have done better to prevent the goal from happening. Starting with your mate needed to position on the lower end of the wall. This helps to cover both low and high. The problem is that your mate positions just low, so when they go high, it's really difficult to make a save. Here's an example of what mate should have done. Mate POV. By standing close to the wall, we are able to quickly drive up the backboard and make the save. As for you, you needed to rotate much quicker the moment you saw the second man go for the ball, ideally towards back post. This helps to cover your mate in case he misses the save and in case they whiff double tap. Plus, it prevents you from being awkward on the follow-up too. Here's an example. By rotating quicker, we can be in a better position to follow up on the ball and block the shot. Good challenge. Good challenge again. Your mate should have been the one to close down this space here, but you looked to see that he wasn't and decided to take responsibility. I like that. Good clear. No, no, no. Just because you have low boost, it doesn't mean you have to leave the play to get boost. There are plenty of pads in front of you too. You need to be comfortable playing with low boost. It's important to getting to that next level. Okay, this was a bit risky. It looked like both you and the opponent were equally slow to this ball, which turned out to be in your benefit. If the opponent had been a bit more confident and gone up the wall, they would have beaten you to this ball and had a really strong shot on net. Example. Opponent POV. As you can see, the opponent could have easily scored this open net if they had been quicker. So what you needed to do was decide much earlier that you were going for it and speed up that decision with boosting off the pad, getting corner boost and instantly going for it. Example. By speeding up instantly and not hesitating, we are able to reach this ball quickly for a double tap. Good pass attempt. Good challenge. Good challenge again. You have really good challenges. This positioning and movement wasn't great, and in all honesty, just wasn't necessary, as in, there was just no need to do what you did when you already had a good position. In this case, you just needed to follow mate behind him and up the wall. Why? Because it was clear that the opponent's second man was coming in. Once your mate is getting challenged, you don't want to position mid because if he gets dunked, you'd have to turn back and it leaves you very awkward. Stay behind and get ready for the challenge. If your mate beats him, you can push up with him. If he doesn't, well, you're behind him, so it's an easy pickup of the ball. Here's an example. By following mate and playing backboard, it becomes much easier and less awkward to deal with the ball. Your positioning is really awkward here. You're waiting for the 50, but your nose isn't facing your net, it's facing the wall. You needed to turn around sooner before the 50, so the save becomes easier. Would have liked you to be a bit quicker here. You picked up two pads and didn't use it to close down the space and could have 50'd the ball. If you did that, your mate would have been ready to pick up the second ball. The problem is that you play it slow, which then slows down your mate's momentum. Not the greatest clear, needed to pop it higher, but it's okay. Good closing down of the space to challenge. No need for boost, you had 67 already. Good positioning. There's no need to turn away here, we're afraid of something that's very unlikely to happen. Here, your mate is going up high and he gets challenged mid-air towards your left. This means the ball is likely going to your left rather than at your net, and even if he hits it towards your net, he wouldn't be able to generate any power to threaten a goal because his momentum is coming from the right, not centrally. Plus, if the ball drops for a dead 50, the second man will take it and 1v1 you with so much time to do what he wants. You needed to get closer and wait for the 50 and try and pursue the second ball. You held a good shadow position, but then you went mid towards net, which is the zone that your mate is rotating towards. You just needed to hold your position and turn as it comes down to hit the ball away. This was preventable. I understand why you pushed up because you might have thought your mate wasn't going due to low boost. But the safest option is to simply stick to the basics. This means you're second man, so play second man. If your mate stays in net, at least you have full boost to try and pull a save. If your mate knows what to do as first man, which is to apply pressure even with zero, and which he did, then you stay behind and save the shot. Okay, so final considerations. Point number one, I would say the main positive of your gameplay is that you have really good challenges um, in terms of the types of flips that you use to take the ball off the opponent. You're pretty consistent at that, which is really, really good, which means you don't really lose too many 50s in that case. Things you need to work on. Here I've put in that you need to work on defensive positions, such as playing backboard or playing grounding, understanding that if the opponent is high, then you want to try and play backboard and keep the same height as them. And if they go low, then you drive low and take the ball off them. The third and final point is on the occasion you misread the situation and play positions too slowly when you needed to speed it up. This is just a combination of awareness of your mate's position as well as the opponent's position, understanding when you should be going quickly and when you should be buying time for your mate, for example, to allow them to reposition. So, yep, that's the final considerations done.